Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Gildart and welcome back to Discussed It, the video game discussion show with no real format. Now, you might be wondering where the PvC review of Warriors Orochi 4 is, and why there's this discussion episode on it, and I can explain. You see, I did a comparison episode of Warriors Orochi versus Warriors All-Stars. Plus, I did a Muso May event on both Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors. I feel like I've pretty much said everything that needs to be covered in the Warriors franchise in those videos. Warriors Orochi 4 does bring a lot of new things to the table, but for the most part, it's your run-of-the-mill Warriors game, and I didn't want to tread the same grounds that I already have. I've reviewed a total of 15 Warriors games. It was getting a little tough for me to say the same thing over and over again. So when I sat down to write about Warriors Orochi 4, I felt like I was repeating myself a lot and that the script was failing to do what I wanted the PvC format to do, which is present a game in a fairly neutral way until the very end of the review. It was so difficult for me to come up with multiple aspects in a way that didn't make me feel like I was copy and pasting my old points. So here I am now with Discussed It, a show I created to have no format and discuss anything I wanted, meaning I could also review games in an unformatted way. So from here on out, if the PvC format isn't working for a review and it's something that I want to talk about, I'm going to feature it on Discussed It, because I still want to create these reviews for you guys. So I think I'll get started with the stuff that goes without saying. First off, we're not in an open world like Dynasty Warriors 9, something that I know many of you were breathing a sigh of relief over. We're back to battle-by-battle stages with thousands of enemy troops for us to mow down in classic Warriors fashion. The usual squares and triangles feel more natural than before after Dynasty Warriors 9's combat system. If you enjoyed classic Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors, you'll definitely like the gameplay of Warriors Orochi 4. One thing that the Orochi series has always done well is include new special abilities for each character that expands their usual combo set. This time around, we're provided with magic from the gods of Olympus. There are over a dozen sacred treasures divvied up between all of the characters. You have 3 magic attacks, a normal, charge, and a unique magic. Your normal and charge are the same between all characters who share the same sacred treasure, while the unique magic is unique. What else do you want from me? Normal magic doesn't deal much damage, but it can stun some enemies or just be used to help keep up a combo, which for the first time ever is extremely useful for combat. Your charge and unique magics will deplete your combo, but use it to deliver higher damage if you've reached 300 or 1000 hits. Combos can also be useful when you come across one of the game's new enemies, the Chaos Origins, which if defeated with a combo of over 300 will drop the Divine Power item which gives your character rage. And this is where I find the characters really start to feel different. The characters in this game are from Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires and Samurai Warriors 4 2, this meaning that all the Samurai Warriors characters have their hyper attacks. I was very worried that this would hinder the Dynasty characters in getting around the map, but I found it very useful to have at least one Dynasty and one Samurai character at a time. You can use Samurai characters' hyper attacks to mill through troops and get to your destination without sacrificing your combo, but the Samurai characters' Rage Musos are similar to their regular Musos where it's just a one-off special attack, while Dynasty characters carry over their long string of attacks from Dynasty Warriors 8. And like in Samurai Warriors 4, officers will easily block your hyper attacks while normal attacks will work perfectly. The other thing that I'll say about Rage Musos is that the returning Orochi characters' Rage Musos are the exact same as their normal Musos, which feels extremely lazy and makes me very, very disappointed. You also get a new type of attack, the Unity Magic. This gauge is built up by delivering attacks through your magical abilities, and when used can launch a giant spirit ball down to the ground, devastating the entire wave of enemies below you. It's incredibly satisfying for the first dozen times you do it. Yeah, this one doesn't change no matter who you have in your team or in your support. I wish this was something that would change, like character poses or dialogue, but it's just a bunch of shouting and everybody does the same movement. You may have also caught what I said back there, but you can select 4 other characters to be your support. These characters help to boost the abilities of your speed, technique, and power characters based on the stats they bring to the table. They don't really get any other use other than that. One of the things in Warriors games that I usually disregard is the story. I've never really cared about how accurate it was, just that the characters had, characteristics. But when I jumped into my Let's Play of it, I thought it'd be a good idea to experience the story along with all of you. I know that some of you out there really like the story of the Warriors games, so I wanted to give it a try. Man, was this game all over the place. So I may be getting into some spoiler territory, but most of the story points I'm going to tackle are fairly early on. If you'd like to skip ahead to the next part, just know that the story isn't terrible, it just needs more ironing out to make it more interesting, and I'm going to outline that right here. First off, let me say that the opening cutscene for the first stage of the game is essentially Koei blowing their load before getting into the whole shebang. We get to see the Greek gods up in the Pantheon talking about how the last game was a lot of fun and that they would like to experience it all over again. But this time with their powers in the mix. But here's the thing, the reveal of Zeus and everyone right off the bat is just too on the nose. And I feel like for the sake of the story, they should have held that back. Next, the opening stage starts with Naomasa, Naotora, and Tadakatsu running into battle through the mist and find Lubu's forces on the other side. Apparently everyone thought it'd be a great idea to get the Tadakatsu versus Lubu battle out of the way early. Later on, we see Daji meet up with Lubu and saying how he doesn't recognize her, but she knows him. And this scene would have meant more if our team wasn't already coming to the conclusion that they're all from different times and dimensions. The entire time I played through this game, I felt as though the story had no real conflict. No one truly cared about getting home, they just cared about fighting each other. When a new conflict arose, it would be solved within a couple of stages. I feel like the story should have had more focus on the conflict and less on the resolution. That being said, we have a plethora of characters to choose from and help us get through the story. As I said before, we have everyone from Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires and Samurai Warriors 4 2. We also have all the mystics and demons from Warriors Orochi 3 Ultimate returning. Because it wouldn't really work well with the movesets we currently have, the new characters from Dynasty Warriors 9 were left out. That I can understand, but we are also missing all the characters from Samurai Warriors Spirit of Sanada. That's just unacceptable. Give me Daddy Sanada! We are also missing all of the guest characters who came from other games in Warriors Orochi 3, like Ryu Hayabusa, Ayane, Sturk, Achilles, Nemea, and so on. It's an incredible disappointment to be losing these characters because they were some of my favorite to play as in Warriors Orochi 3 Ultimate. We also don't have Lei Bin from Dynasty Warriors Godseekers, which I'm honestly okay with. The crossbow sucked! Fight me! One thing that doesn't suck though is the graphics, if you have a PS4 Pro or Xbox One X. The majority of my gameplay is from the Xbox One X version, but I was crazy and bought the game on every console. Yeah, shut up. The main differences are that the Xbox One X and PS4 Pro have slightly better looking textures and a steady 60 frames per second. The base consoles have slightly more dull textures compared to their beefy counterparts and run at a steady 30 frames. The Switch has the lowest graphical quality, but it is still in a playable state and runs at 20 frames-ish. The Japanese voices make a return and I'm gonna keep ragging on them until we get a dub. Even though Dynasty Warriors 9's voice acting wasn't all that great, I was still able to understand what was happening on the battlefield. The only way I know how the story is going is before and after the stages. Online is also pretty lacking. My wife and I played a bit and had a decent time, but when I went to try the Battle Arena, a new mode specific to Warriors Orochi 4, I couldn't even start a game. In all honesty though, if it's the exact same as the mock battles you could do without any other players, I don't really think I'm missing out on much. When I did the tutorial, I was surprised to see something new and unique for the multiplayer in a Warriors game. But if this is all we get, it just feels rushed and shoved in for the final release. What I will also mention is that the weapon fusions are back, but not. Essentially what you need to do is break down weapons with different abilities. By breaking them down, you get a piece of that ability, which you acquire multiple of in order to put that ability on another weapon. This is really cool for the fact that you can now take an attribute from one character's weapon and put it on another, but it leads to more grinding to get the perfect weapons everybody wants. I honestly don't think it's very worth it to me. And you want to know what annoyed me the most? The menus. I couldn't stand the menus. It's fucking insane to try to navigate this maze of options. It is not player friendly and honestly nauseating. Just try to find your favorite 3 characters without using the filters in the midst of the 170 available. Oh yeah, there are filters. There are fucking filters to help you find the characters, and they don't work right. Where's the old wheel of characters from the past games? That was good. That was easily manageable and looked good. This just looks like a mobile game's UI. It's just ugly. Lastly, I'll mention the DLC, something Warriors fans can't make their mind up on. Some parts of the community really like them, while others can't stand them. Personally, I don't mind it when past costumes are pretty cheap. I actually really enjoy having the older costumes in. The only thing is, the costumes we get for this game are just the kimonos for samurai characters and the one set of modern costumes for the Dynasty characters. We don't get any of the past costumes from other games. That's just a disappointment. We did get some new sacred treasures and mounts and weapons, which are actually, pretty damn cool if I'm gonna be honest. This can also help if you're taking 2 characters with the same sacred treasure into battle, and it'll differentiate them. Keiji and Shahodun use the same sacred treasure, and I've got them equipped with different variations of them. We also get DLC stages and some unique costumes for Warriors Orochi 4, and the costumes are really cool, and I use them more than the legendary costumes we get, but I haven't played any of the DLC stages yet, so I can't really speak on them. But what I can say is that through all of my gripes with Warriors Orochi 4, it was still pretty fun. I had a decent time with it gameplay-wise. Once I got into a stage, I felt like it was a pretty good Warriors game, but when I got to the story or menu, I felt this entry lacked the quality that the last one had. If you're looking for an entry into the Warriors series, I'd lead you more towards Dynasty Warriors 8 Extreme Legends Complete Edition with its incredibly insane name. If you're looking for an entry into the Orochi series, I'd definitely recommend 3 Ultimate. But if you see this one out there, don't dismiss it. It is a solid game if you enjoy the Warriors gameplay, but if you're really into the stories, you might want to pass on this one and stick to 3 Ultimate. I enjoyed it and I'm having a good time with the Let's Play on the channel, but I find it lacking the soul that 3 Ultimate had. Now with Disgusted, I don't want to give the game a score, but I will say that you should at least check out Warriors Orochi 4 if you have the opportunity. It is honestly a solid Warriors game. You know, when you're actually playing it. Thanks for watching, everyone. Let me know what you thought about this unformatted review. I've been trying really hard to write this script and just struggling to do it in the PVC format. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, give the video a like and subscribe for more. If you'd like to help the channel even more, why not give a look into joining the Guild through Patreon? Special thanks to the names you see on screen who have joined the Guild to help the channel grow to what it is today. And hey, if you like Warriors games, why not check out this comparison I did between Warriors Orochi and Warriors All-Stars? Or maybe this review of Dynasty Warriors 8. And don't forget, I will see you all down in the comments.